Welcome to the Blame It on the Boogie podcast. And today we got all four of the brothers here today. We just four better than average brothers come to talk to you guys about a little thing we call sports. Today I have with me, starting at the top, DOOZE, Antoine Williams from Florissant, Missouri.
Come on in. Have a seat.
We got
Sit down.
the one and only Geechy Dab, Dante Nash from Phoenix, Arizona. We got the world-renowned Dorian, the Almighty, the Wonder Mouse Brown from Richmond, California. And of course, you got me here today, Rod D, right here from the Detroit, Michigan, almost. Because I ain't really there, but the show must go on.
Are you trying to get a job as a PA announcer?
That's right. Billups. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Your resume sucks.
I thought you were going to say, but Benny and the Jets.
That's Mr. Mason, the Pistons announcer. I'm coming for your job, my brother. I'm coming.
Introducing an arrest.
Today is episode number. Y'all ready for this? 3 0
Got candles.
Happy birthday. Who 30? Y'all know who 30 is. Play for Golden State. Come on now. Come on now. Give it to me. Give it to me. Nah, dude, you ain't nowhere close to 30. Your beard might be 30, but you ain't 30. This our Steph Curry episode. Shout out to Steph.
Stephanless.
So today, as usual, we all back together. And we always start with a little thing we call recaps. And that's going to be done by the Wonder Mouse. Dorian, tell us what we talked about last week.
Recaps in the banner.
I don't know.
We talked about nothing last week.
Well, I guess he already talked. I guess that's enough. He said enough. Since we didn't talk about nothing last week, he said
we didn't talk about nothing last week. We talked
Thanksgiving.
We ain't been here.
We talked about that. Well, I talked about turkey and ham. Of course, Dorian didn't eat no ham.
Or turkey.
We coming right out the gate, y'all.
I had 7.
Well,
we coming right out the gate, y'all, because we ain't been here last week. Dorian don't remember what he talked about last week. He don't remember what he ate last week.
Well, you know what?
Oh, I eat the same thing every week.
Green grass. He gonna eat the green grass.
Potatoes, tomatoes, green beans, tomatoes.
No, we gonna see that song. We gonna see that song. We gonna see that song. Hey, before we start, we do want y'all to do us a little favor, and that's to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, the follow button. What other buttons they gotta hit, dudes? The cash button. Hit the cash button. All that go to DOOZE. But we do.
That's for the
we do want to thank you. We thank you for your continued support. Our following is actually getting rather big, and we appreciate each and every one of y'all. We need y'all to all those people out there giving out these millions and millions of dollars for these podcasts. Y'all, look at our numbers.
Are they getting big because they it's right after Thanksgiving? Or?
Yeah, that too. Thanksgiving was a rough time for everybody, man. Rough time for everybody, but we don't care. We don't care.
Wait, which numbers, Rod? You forget to tell people when you're gonna check us out, man.
You said forget to tell them about what?
Which numbers he talking about? Tell them where they can reach us. I think he's just.
Oh, y'all want to know where y'all can reach us at?
Check us out.
You can check us out anywhere where you can find anywhere where you can find your podcast. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all them podcasts. Wherever you find podcasts, you can find us there.
You find us.
We also have our YouTube page. We got a TikTok page. We got a Facebook page, and we need to put a little bit more emphasis into. We're gonna get to that, y'all. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, you can reach us by railway, caravan. We don't care how you get here. Just get here.
Get here. That's all we asking. That's all we asking. We got a website, the BIOTBpodcast.com. For those that don't, it's BIOTB podcast.com.
OTBP.
If you want to email us with some suggestions, email boogieblaming@gmail.com. Dory don't have nothing to say, so we gonna get right into our episode. Comments too. You know, he let the brothers down. You know, he wasn't paying attention. He missed the all of the pre-production we was doing. I don't know what he was doing. Well, I got some ideas of what he was doing, but we can't say it on the air because we get shut down.
Super freak.
Guess which finger I'm holding up.
Hey, but we do want to start. We do want to start by giving you one update. And it's a sad update, y'all. It's a sad update. We've been riding high with our Flyers all year. And they made it all the way to the state finals. But unfortunately, we couldn't get over that last little hump, man, to win that champion. Yeah, I won. So it was a heartbreaking defeat for our Flyers. To what was it? Kerry Grove. I'm sorry, Kerry Grove.
Did he say Kerry Gables?
Yeah.
Clark Gable.
Like Clark Gable. What it is?
Clark Gable.
No, what it is, y'all. See,
it's Clark Gable and Kerry Grant.
The glasses I have. I need to go holler at my doctor again because even this screen right here look a little on the fuzzy side. But anyway,
okay.
Kerry Grove. I mean, they played a good game. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of shall we say calls that could have come into question. But we're not gonna go there. They won the game.
Particularly two.
Just them two that
they didn't just win the game.
It was two costly calls.
That triple option.
Hey, yeah. It was a little difficult.
Even without those two costly calls, Kerry Grove's triple option is no joke. Hell, they even had one a punt return called back. That was one of their big penalties. But other than that, I mean, they would have actually beat Eastside by more than what they did. Eastside fought back. They were doing good until Pops got hurt. Pops battle got hurt. That changed the whole complexity of the game coming down and going into the fourth quarter. I mean, Eastside at one point took the lead in the game. Kerry Grove controlled that entire game basically from start to finish, which brings up the finish. After Eastside took the lead, Kerry Grove proceeded to go on a 10-minute drive to go ahead with the go-ahead touchdown. Their fullback could not be stopped. So what it came down to, fellas, was our guy Reese Shanklin, the kicker, to perhaps become East St. Louis legend. Had he been able to come down that field, throw a touchdown. I'm talking free Chinese food, church's fried chicken, eat anywhere free in East St. for life.
Rice House.
He threw an interception in the game, y'all.
I think Roddy could do that based on that tennis match he was in.
Hey, man. So
nobody ever saw.
Look, hey, listen. It was the greatest tennis match in the history of professional tennis. We was in high school.
And nobody ever saw it.
Those that did know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Call Tony. Tony, I'll let me tell you.
Roddy never played tennis in high school. Anyway, back to Reese, man.
But yeah,
Reese he threw the interception, but guess what? Reese is just a freshman. He's going to be the starting quarterback, next year probably, unless they bring somebody else in. But the point being, you see the score 23-20. They had a chance, wasn't there. So again, congratulations, shout out to Eastside. If you remember, Kerry Grove is the same team that beat him in 2021 to stop him from getting the title. So they know Kerry Grove very well. One last thing, one note. Shout out to Coach Sunkett, who we hope to get on soon. He's basically you know, you got to suck this one up or without a kicker. You got what Caseyville, you got Fairmont City. It's got to be a little white kid, a little Mexican somewhere to which you can go recruit East Side a kicker. That East Side.
Can a brother kick? Can a brother kick?
Can a brother
kick, man?
What's that point?
What the brothers kick, man? But see, that's the problem. The problem is,
well, hey Dorian, how old are we, man? The problem is, how old are we? They've never taught a black brother to kick since we've been around East Side. So,
but the issue
we gotta
is
outsource our kicking, man. That's my point.
No, the issue is East Side doesn't have a coach that can teach kicking. We need Robert Alexander. The phone call is coming to you.
Yes,
come holler at the Flyers and teach these fellas how to kick.
Come on, Julio.
Come on, Julio. Come on back and come back to the alma mater and teach these fellas how to kick, man.
Somebody.
So, but again,
soccer coach.
We do want to
overtime soccer coach. They just need to kick.
We do want to congratulate East Side.
Back again.
Know this. Flyers for life. Flyers for life. And they will be back next year. So we're not gonna work. You know, we're gonna continue to support them. Continue to show them, you know, all the love we can. But someone who will not be coming back next year is a brother in Pittsburgh. Matt Canada, the OC in Pittsburgh.
Is he on his way to Canada?
Man, he probably won't make it to Canada. He gonna be in what's Iceland is
Romania.
Is green. What is it? Greenland is the cold one, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be there.
How can you have a place called Iceland that ain't cold?
Iceland ain't cold.
Iceland is cold.
Iceland's not cold. That's not the Greenland is the cold one.
We'll go to Iceland right
now. Come on, geography major Dante. What's colder, Greenland or Iceland?
Somebody book Rodney a flight to Iceland to prove to him that it's cold.
No. Hold up. Let me see. Iceland average temperature. It's 55 degrees.
Not average. Right there now, sir.
Right.
So let me see Greenland. Look, this ain't even sports related. But y'all, see, Dorian don't like to be wrong. Greenland, the average temperature in the summer is 42 degrees. In the winter is -4.
First of all, that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
No, I'm looking at it's 42 degrees Fahrenheit summer and -4 in the winter.
You said the average temperature in Iceland is 55. That don't mean it's cold. That just means that's the average temperature.
The point being, y'all,
whatever. Matt Canada
is on his way there.
Is no longer in Pittsburgh. He is no longer in Pittsburgh.
It's gone.
But so the question is that we have on here: was it warranted, or was he simply just a fall guy?
Fellas?
Go ahead, Dante. Go ahead, Dante.
Real quick, I put it up there. I don't think it was. We got the delay. I don't think it was actually warranted. The quarterback is who we thought he was. That they have. He can only do so much. Pittsburgh is a defensive-minded team. Yeah, they fired Matt Canada, and they brought in a new OC that they probably promoted. We're going to talk about some of these promotions within these team organizations later. But I thought he was a fall guy because they ain't not going to fire the head coach there in Pittsburgh.
Not in Pittsburgh.
But after he was fired, they did make the internal promotion. They actually won the last 2 games. So when you look at it, matter of fact, I forgot this. I think I got the list over there. Who are the coach? Who is the new OC? I got a list right here. Guys, that's the list. Can you pump that up, Rod? But NFL quarterback coaches and everybody that was getting pumped up. I forgot who was at Pittsburgh, but that's who it was. Mike Sullivan. I think that's who Mike got promoted up to that position. Sound about right, Dorian? But it's going to be a whole lot of jostling around with these OCs and everybody getting fired. We're going to talk about Carolina a little bit later, Rob, when we really get into more of the NFL. That's what our show going to be real heavy on tonight is the NFL. But I thought Matt Canada wasn't bad of an OC. I just thought what they had in Pittsburgh and what they were doing was bad for him. So he was the fall guy. What you think about that, Dorian, since Pittsburgh basically plays in a division where your boys, the Bengals, play and the Browns, and you see where Pittsburgh is sitting in this playoff chase, if you will, because Cleveland is very interested in some of the things they did. But with Matt Canada being fired, Pittsburgh it now looks good. Are you scared as a Bengal fan?
First of all, no, because Joe Burrow hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, we need a high pick at this point because he ain't gonna be. If he comes back, it's not gonna be. We're not gonna be in the playoff hunt anymore. So, but ultimately, do I really care? No. But as far as real sports analysis,
be objective. Fan, but be objective.
As far as real sports analysis go, I think that I would never think that one Tomlin would deserve to be fired. He hasn't done anything to deserve to be fired.
Yeah,
He understood that he needed something about his offense because you got Najee Harris, who is dynamic. You got Pickens on the outside, who is dynamic. Your problem, you got Freiermuth, who was a great tight end, right? Your problem really is your quarterback. And I think that I don't know if Canada was kind of holding things back and really not kind of opening the playbook and giving Pickett a chance to do stuff, but their offense is nowhere near as conservative as it was under Canada. Canada was really kind of like this whole thing of let me manage the game and let the defense win. Whereas it seems like this new cat is really using his weapons that he has, throwing the ball deep. But a big deal is that they got Freiermuth back.
Mm-hmm.
That cannot be underestimated. No matter how much I hate them, I love Mike Tomlin. I love the job that Mike Tomlin has done in Pittsburgh. I have to give him much credit for that. And so I think he's one of those no-nonsense guys that saw the writing on the wall like this dude. He wouldn't have hired Matt Canada if it wasn't deserved. I don't think he's a fall guy at all. I don't see Tomlin as that kind of dude.
Well, I don't see him as being a fall guy because
he had them shake.
Pittsburgh is not known for firing coaches at all, really, and definitely not during the middle of the season. Yep. So, but he, like Dorian said, he saw the writing on the wall that this team, the offense, is what was holding them back. They got a world-class defense that has kept them in most games. Anytime you can win a game, 13 to 10, your defense is doing a hell of a job. When the average team is going to score 20 points a game, at least. And when your team can't score 20, and that you have to keep the opposing team to less than 10 points, your offense is doing your defense a complete disservice by putting them in that position. So he really didn't have a choice. Plus, you had the fans. This is one time that I think, and all the time that Tomlin has been there, that he succumbed to the pressure of the fans because they were the ones calling the talk shows, doing the podcast, calling them to the podcast like us, complaining about Matt Canada. Now, what I will say is Matt Canada was a horrible coach. His play calling was absolutely horrendous. And what it did was it stunted the growth of their quarterback, Kenny Pickens. Is it Pickett? No, what's his name? Pickett. Pickett is a quarterback. Pickens is a receiver.
Kenny Pickett.
Go ahead.
Keep that in mind, Rodney. Yeah, keep that in mind. That's where we're leading. Where I'm going with this. Like I said, we're going to be NFL heavy, especially in the quarterbacks and what teams are doing and what we're seeing out there. You're seeing the growth being stunted by these coordinators and these coaches, which goes to another point, which I was asking Dorian about within that division. This particular situation going on right here, Rodney. Speaking of quarterbacks in that same division with a very defensive team, Cleveland, they trying to go all in. They trying to make a big playoff push, like Dorian said. Joe Burrow is hurt, so you can almost write Cincinnati off. Everybody's chasing Baltimore. This move here just shocked the hell out of me, Rodney, when it happened. You boys know what I said. When I saw it, I was like, man, if they start this guy, something's crazy. Well, they didn't. Dorian hit that one on the head. They did start DTR. But what happened? He got this mysterious concussion in that game in which Cleveland won, actually. Again, they're winning. And so now you're benching the guy when you're winning, kind of like PJ Walker when he was there. You know, like you said, right, you don't lose your position to an injury, but all of a sudden now DTR has an injury right after you guys went and signed this guy off the streets or whatever to the practice squad. And then after that first game they just won, now he all of a sudden is injured, and now Joe Flacco's right from the practice squad and may be ready to start next week. Like I said, there's more to come on that. Speaking of quarterbacks, with just what you're talking about, Rodney, on how these coaches stunt a lot of these quarterbacks that are already there, and how quarterbacks aren't getting their opportunity to actually try to play in any kind of system. So this is going to be interesting seeing Joe Flacco come out this week if Cleveland is trying to make a playoff push. I don't see any success in that.
Well, see, I don't know if I think that maybe when you think about Flacco and Cleveland changing kind of quarterbacks or that kind of thing, for me, it's are we winning because of someone or in spite of someone?
Mm-hmm.
And I think for them, they felt like they were winning really based upon their defense more than they were their offense. And so they were willing to try different people. That
right.
DTR or whatever. And I think that they just want Flacco as that kind of that veteran stability, because you got DTR who's a rookie and PJ Walker is what year in the league?
He's first or second. He ain't been there long.
Right. So you got Flacco again. I'm not touting Flacco as the greatest thing, since sliced bread or anything of that nature at the quarterback position. However, he does have a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens for years. So I think that that's really kind of what they were looking for to kind of buttress the rookies and the second-year players or whatever they had at quarterback.
I know you're
So one of the quarterbacks that we don't have on here,
like I said, of all those guys that are still out there, going back to what Rodney tickets and other guys. Go ahead, right?
Also, Flacco's familiar with the AFC North.
But one of the quarterbacks that we didn't talk about, they didn't have on here, is a quarterback in Chicago who is probably going to get one of the he's going to get the shaft for the ineptitude of his team also, Dante, because they Justin Fields is who I'm talking about. Justin Fields has been there. This is his third year.
We're going to talk about that.
Oh, we got that later on. Okay, I'll hold off on that. I'll hold off on that. But going back to Flacco and DTR,
that's the kind of stuff coming up. So, yeah.
Well, real quick on Flacco and DTR, Cleveland really didn't have a choice because DTR sucked last week. Even though they won the game, it wasn't because of him. He absolutely. The only saving grace for him is that Kenny Pickett was on the other side of the field.
I guess.
He on my fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess what's being missed here, I guess in August, I'm not saying Joe is all world and this and that, but there are other quarterbacks on other teams that were starting for other teams, kind of like what Minnesota did. So if all these other younger players or players that were playing, Cleveland, you couldn't go make some other kind of move to find. I know what Dorian's saying. You really got a good veteran in Flacco, my worry, as I was telling Dorian, Flacco's a stiff. If he goes out there in the next start and gets hurt, where's Cleveland now? So me and Dorian had talked about that. I said, man, I no bad will against Flacco to get hurt or anything, but there's too many other quarterbacks from other teams that are out there that were actively playing this year that Cleveland could have went in and brought in and still been viable, like you said. It's Cleveland's defense that carries them pretty much like all of that division, like you guys are saying. So I'm not dissing on Flacco. I just think there are more other quarterbacks out there that they could have went and got. The guy from that we used to be with Vegas, who was that out here with Arizona that they cut loose. It's a bunch of guys that were actively playing. I don't think Cleveland even tried. They just went and grabbed Flacco from the golf course. That's just, I'm like, it was just the name Flacco for Cleveland in a push.
They were calling on Matt Ryan.
Later.
They were calling on Matt Ryan. So no, teams that lost their quarterback for the year was calling about Matt Ryan.
Again, we're gonna talk about it later. That goes what we're gonna talk about later. There's no development of younger quarterbacks. If they keep having to call these old
recycling them.
Yeah. They keep having to call these old stills because they're not developed quarterbacks. We're gonna talk about that later, y'all. Hey, but your boy,
right, so what we're gonna talk about right now,
Oregon State, right?
What we're gonna talk about right now is the Oregon State the former Oregon State head coach Jonathan Smith, who is now the current head coach at Michigan State University. But the thing about it,
no more mail.
Oregon State actually had a pretty decent season this year. Michigan State was horrible. So you have to ask yourself, well, why is he leaving? Well, the reason he's leaving is because the Pac-2, they don't have the money. He didn't know who he's gonna play next year. He doesn't know who's gonna play next year. So now he's following with Oregon again. So he gets to play against Oregon again, but this time at Michigan State. Michigan State, for those that remember, used to have a coach named Mel Tucker.
Little Mel.
And Mel got caught with the proverbial pants down at the knees. Mel had a little friend with that we affectionately labeled Little Mel. I don't know if the brother little or not. I'm just saying he had a friend. He had a friend.
Melvin.
Little Mel. And because of his interactions with Little Mel, he was kind of forced to leave.
He got in big trouble.
Michigan State University. So now Michigan State was without a head coach, and they went out and got a pretty good one in Jonathan Smith. Now the question is, he was good on the West Coast, recruiting out there. So the question is, can he recruit in the Midwest? It's completely different. The styles are completely different. I actually hope that he brings the style that they had out in the West to the Midwest. Give it a little bit more excitement. I don't see Oregon changing at all. They're going to bring what they bring. So the Big 10, that's now Big 18, is going to be, rather interesting. So the question is, how do you guys feel about Jonathan Smith? Do you consider him a good coach? Dorian?
I'll watch Oregon State.
Enough said. What about you, Dante? Pointing to you, Dante.
It's Oregon State is basically with him coming to Michigan State is like, you're just going to get a share of the money like they get in Illinois and the rest of the bottom feeding schools in the Big 18 or the Big 10 or whatever they were. Yeah, I'm going to go over here to get surrounded by all these other big name coaches and stuff because, like I said, it's Pac-2 now. They're irrelevant, these teams out here. So you're going to want to be close to relevancy where you can recruit. So it only makes sense. You're going for the money. I had some up here which leads to the next one we're going to talk about. It doesn't matter where he goes, whether it's Michigan State, they're still going to be getting crushed by not only Michigan, Ohio State, and every other Oregon. Let's see who else came out finna go over
Washington.
Yeah, so you just moved a bunch of other original teams down to the bottom feeders, which I always said they need to get rid of some of the teams that was in the Big Ten anyway, because they're garbage. So you're gonna have what 7 to 8 good teams in one division in the Legends. What is it, Leagues and Legends division? 8 good ones in the Legends division, and the other ones is just garbage. That's what the new Big 28, Big 30 looks like.
Yeah, they
so that's what I think about it. It means nothing. Legends. Just a bunch of convolution in the Big 12.
Yeah, East and West is much better than
exactly.
Legends and
Let's do a geographic.
Champions and Legends and whatever. It didn't really matter. It was stupid. But what it does, him going to Michigan State, what it does do, Michigan State will now be like at best the 6th best team in the conference, because
6.
Other than when D'Antonio was there, Michigan State really hasn't had a lot of football success. Basketball success, that's completely different. But football success, they had a couple of years with D'Antoni where they were actually real good. But other than that, Michigan State is a middle of the pack team, but they're paying Jonathan Smith as if he is one of the best coaches in football.
Big Ten money.
Yeah, he's getting that Big Ten money. But again, Big Ten Prince money, so it really doesn't matter. When you're talking coaches, it is what it is. Another coach that's on the move. Oh, push the button. Push the button, Roddy. There we go. Mike Elko, former Dookie, is going down there with that Texas money at A&M. And y'all know that A&M got the
going back home.
They let Jimbo go. And what did Jimbo? He still got like 75 or some junk $1 million on his contract.
$75 million buyout. $75 million buyout.
So, and they got to give him that money. Ain't no, we gonna spread this out over 10 years. They got to write him a check.
75
guaranteed.
Just to leave.
Guaranteed.
Just to leave. But you know what? The thing about it though, again, whoever A&M got was gonna get paid because A&M got that oil money, right? But I'm like, Mike Elko from Duke.
Who else you gonna get? But
he's from there.
Okay, a couple of things.
He's the coach. He used to be a coach at Texas A&M.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
But what did he do? I get what Dante's saying, but what I'm saying is that it ain't like Duke was that good.
They were.
Duke ever been that good? But at the same time, has Texas A&M ever been that good?
And so
Texas A&M has never been a blue blood. They've never been a perennial college football playoff team. They've never been a perennial January 1st bowl team. Really? I'm talking about
not perennial.
Where you were saying to yourself, "Ooh, I'm gonna go watch Texas A&M." Come on now. So this whole idea that everybody thinks that if they don't win a national championship in 3 years because they in the SEC, then all of a sudden you got to fire the coach. So now you start your process all the way over because he's recruiting a whole different type of kid. The teams that he had at Duke is going to be totally different from these people that he's going to get in Texas. So you still going to have to wait 3-4 years before he comes in and gets a recruiting class. What do you really think he's going to do with these cats? Because guess what they're about to do? Transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
They probably most of them will end up in Colorado.
Transfer portal.
So it's like
actually they're not. That's another whole.
This goes back to the point that I make all the time, and I know this is gonna come up a bit later. Y'all know it is. I get so sick of these folks firing people in the middle of their contract.
Mm-hmm.
If you go give somebody a contract, let them live out the terms of their contract. You know what I'm saying? Unless you get to the point where you just sucking, you 1-12, 3-13, but they firing cats at 9-4. Kevin Sumlin was 9-4, 10-3, 8-5. But because he couldn't beat Alabama, who else is beating Alabama?
Well, nobody beating Alabama.
Now you got to fire him. You know, that's my thing with Illinois, with Ron Zook. We had Ron Zook, we was going 10-2, 9-3 every year. And then you fire him, and we've been horrible ever since. So I hate when these cats do this, man. You know, I hope Jimbo finds another job, and I hope Jimbo wins another national championship.
Well, to answer Dorian's question, Mike Elko was a coach at Duke for 2 years, and he was 16-9 in those 2 years. Yeah. And that's because he was 9-4 this past year. So he only had one good season coaching. So, and he might be the next George Halas or give me a good coach. Bear Bryant. No.
Who actually coached at A&M?
No. You know I don't like Bear Bryant. I don't like Bear Bryant.
He actually coached at A&M.
Oh, ball coach. Steve Sperry. Steve Sperry.
Give me Steve Sperry.
Steve Sperry. He ain't no Steve Sperry.
So
he ain't the old ball coach. Dorian already said it. That's why these guys are just mediocre. Good old boy. Good old boy network continuing to get paid for mediocrity.
And you know, so you know what? You just popped that up there. The good old boy network. So
good old boy network. He went to Duke
now
to get some money, transferred them, and I ain't going back to get more money. Recycled these good old boys. They can't coach.
So
mediocre.
The common perception is that the good old boy is rampant in the NFL, and it is. You know, it's all about who you know to get your opportunity.
Relationship.
In college, man, it is so prevalent in college. It's unbelievable. You know, you got the boosters. Hey, I got such and such. Mike Elko, he was a coach here. No, we can go get him, and he's gonna do this. But Mike Elko is not gonna do any different than what Jimbo Fisher did. Because the problem A&M has is they got Texas in their right there with them also. And when you ask players in Texas where they want to go, Texas or Texas A&M, they going to the Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
They going to the Longhorns. So you, as Michigan and Michigan State say,
then they go to the SEC.
Mm-hmm. As the Michigan said about Michigan State, they're the little brother. A&M is Texas's little brother. I don't care what Texas record is, they're gonna always be their little brother. Those couple of years when they had what's the dude that won the Heisman? Johnny Manziel. When they had Manziel, it was all hype. They just knew they was gonna continue that streak. But once Manziel left, they went right back to where they normally would be.
But they didn't win.
They didn't win nothing with Manziel. They didn't win.
It's not like they won a national championship.
Exactly. They did beat Alabama though that one year.
You got a Heisman.
That's it.
That was it though.
You got a Heisman. That's it.
That
was it.
Was beating Bama in Bama. That's it. Texas A&M hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm. So, but the good old boy network
wastes a lot of money, Dorian. That's what they've done. Is waste a lot of good old boy money on a bunch of mediocre coaches that haven't done crap around the league. And speaking of,
but the brother
ain't done nothing.
Kevin Summerlin.
Hey, fellas.
I'm going back to what D said. Hold on. I'm going back to what D said. Kevin Summerlin.
Yeah.
They got rid of him after consecutive 9-3 seasons. I mean, he had like 3 seasons in a row where he was like 9-3, 10-2. But that's not good enough for you. You got rid of the brother. Disparage the brother when you got rid of him. You ain't just get rid of him. I mean, they got rid of him, and you ain't heard nothing else from him because of the way that they did him. And you bring in Jimbo Fisher. He's supposed to be the savior. He's supposed to be a savior. Y'all saw what happened with Jimbo. Jimbo didn't care. Jimbo got that money. He was like, all right, I'm good. Jimbo wasn't recruiting. He wasn't doing nothing. He got that contract. And he said, I'm good for the rest of my life. I got $100 million, of which you got to pay me 75. Write that check. And now you bringing in this other dude because he's a quote unquote legacy. He played there. He coached there. Whatever. Man, I hope they don't win another game. Skip them. Y'all making me mad now.
Get right. None of those teams down there want any person to scheme. This is my opinion, to be running their organizations. Again, I've always called it the stars and college, like you said. It's a plantation system, but it is what it is. But staying on that point of all these guys getting jobs. All right, guys, which one of these jobs would you want? And by the way, let's see, San Diego State job is gone because Deion's coach, Primetime's coach, just went and took that, I think, yesterday? So of those available jobs, if you are up-and-coming coach, which one would you want to take?
San Diego State.
That job has just been taken. I just said that.
Well, the question was, if they took him out, all right.
So who took the San Diego State job?
So Houston is in the Big 12, Indiana Big 10, ACC.
The coach from
you need to scratch
one of Deion's coach.
You need to scratch Oregon State off of there altogether because they have no conference. So I would not want to go to Oregon State because there's complete uncertainty there. Syracuse, it's hard to win in Syracuse, man. It's hard to recruit players to come to Syracuse. Why? Because it's cold as hell in Syracuse in the wintertime. Don't nobody want to go to Syracuse. UTEP. I don't know what you. Where UTEP? What conference is UTEP in?
Texas.
They have one since now.
Texas.
Yeah. What conference is what conference is UTEP in right now? I said what conference?
That small one.
Is it the Sun Belt?
Sun Belt. No, so
SWAC, I think. That's black.
So
the
WAC.
Yeah.
No, it's not the WAC. Is it the WAC?
There's no WAC anymore.
No WAC.
West.
Mount West, probably Mount West.
It's one of them Southern, Southwest something.
So okay, if I'm being looking at your options here.
Oh, they're Conference USA.
All right. Wow. Looking at your options here, since the San Diego State job is gone.
I knew this in one of them. Yeah. And Oregon State.
You know, as bad as it sounds, I might actually take that Duke job. Duke is really it's only two teams
in Duke. What about you? How say you, Dorian?
Where's New Mexico? Is that New Mexico?
All right, keep it there. You take Duke. Right. What about you, Dab?
Where's New Mexico? I couldn't take the San Diego State job.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the New Mexico job.
Right.
All right, the Lobo.
If I'm James Harden, I'm taking the Houston job. But I certainly ain't trying to be out in the middle of nowhere, Indiana.
The Lobos are in. The Lobos are in the Mountain West.
So is that in Albuquerque?
What, New Mexico?
Yeah.
University of New Mexico. It is in.
That's the conference, right?
Yeah,
it's in Albuquerque. It's located
Albuquerque.
In
Yep. So you got a fairly big city.
Okay, I go to Albuquerque. Also, one of them, Albuquerque. So I believe it's New Mexico, has a really good African American studies program or African American history program. Because I was looking at it.
So you would take New Mexico.
I wanted to say San Diego State, but you said
yeah.
All right.
San Diego State would be my first choice because it's San Diego.
It's already gone. It's gone.
Because I wouldn't want to go to any of these places.
Yeah,
all our choices. It'd be all our choices.
So I'm taking New Mexico.
Hey, so Dorian, to answer your question, you asked where the coach that's going to San Diego State came from. It's one of Deion Sanders' former coaches. He getting the hell out of cold-ass Colorado. Who wouldn't want to go to San Diego State? So based on that, for me, weather, I'm taking the Houston job. Yeah, and Houston's been they've been relevant. They're not bad. So for me, I'm taking Houston. I'm going with the weather. I'm going to hang out with James Harden.
You forget about them Hurricanes?
So I thought about Houston, but because of them Hurricanes, I wasn't going to
Ain't no Hurricanes in San Diego. You ain't got to worry about none of that. The weather is perfect in San Diego all year round, except January and February when it gets.
But we can't. But we can't get the job in San Diego. That job is gone. Dudes. So by disqualification, dudes, you get the Boise State job, dudes.
I gotta get UTEP. You know, remember my first duty station was El Paso.
Yeah, dudes.
Roddy drove out there.
Yeah.
I be down there hanging out with dudes in Texas. See it all work out.
Yeah, there was some wild days back then. Oh, well,
but hold up, Dante. You from UTEP to Houston, man, that's like a 30-hour drive.
Yeah, it is.
Man, it's far.
It's fun. It's far. It's 4.5 hours.
To every other part of Texas, seems like
is at least 100 miles apart. Every city is about 100 miles apart. Known fact.
El Paso is way on the other side.
Yeah, dude.
No, El Paso is in California.
Exactly.
They in California, man.
So those are the other jobs that's out there. But you know what's not up there, Rodney? You know what's not up there?
Which one?
They don't have the Michigan job up there yet. And we know Jim Harbaugh is not going to be at Michigan after this season. So that's going to
already got that coach, bro.
Quarterback stuff or some more NFL later on. Where's Jim going? Who has their coach? Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan. They gonna hire the brother.
I'm talking about the University of Michigan. Jim is not going to be.
They gonna hire the brother if Harbaugh leaves. So put it like this: they better hire the brother.
We gonna keep our eye on
if Harbaugh leaves.
You heard that from Rodney. Michigan, y'all. You heard that first from Rodney. They gonna hire the brother.
And I still ain't
they better hire the
brother. Yeah, they better hire the brother.
But moving on from that job. We're gonna go on from that. But here's the best news all week, y'all. If everything
I've been waiting for you to tell me about this all day. I've been waiting for you to tell me about this all day because I still have yet to figure out what exactly happened. We're talking about Angel Reese and the situation that they had down at LSU. Dante is the one with the pulse on the scene. Tell us what happened, Dante.
Nothing happened, according to Kim Mulkey. It's an internal situation. No, we're not having technical. It's an internal situation is what's going on. We know in the streets, as they say, it's just basically attitude and everything. But when it comes down to that money, Angel realized that it was too much at stake. So all this ego, the attitude, I don't care what's been in the news and going on for the past 2 weeks with her grades, relationships, the mothers fighting and all that. When it was all said and done, it was up to Coach Mulkey. It was her final decision, whenever it came down to let Angel back on the court or not. That's what it all boiled down to. And this goes back to, just attitude and everything was going on. She's now back. Like I said, I don't want to talk about the past. They're playing tonight, which I was watching. They have another player that's still not back. I think it's still going through some reprimanding, if you will. LSU's going to be all right. They suffered some injuries to some of their star players. So I think Kim Mulkey kind of really didn't have a choice either. So they kind of, I think, agreed to disagree. So the whole Angel Reese, Kim Mulkey situation or whatever's going on, and they just kind of keeping it under wraps like any other big program normally does. I think Kim Mulkey does a great job at that. She's no different than a Nick Saban or a Jim Harbaugh when it comes to talking to the media and keeping what happens in-house. I think she had a big part of getting contact with each of those ladies' moms, too, when it came to social media. Because after that, everything went to a hush. Everything became speculation. So all we know that, it ain't no more speculation. Angel Reese is back on the court. But so I am definitely happy to see that because I didn't want to have another this or that episode where we get to talking about Angel Reese's future and what we really think she'd be doing. But that's what was going on with that. That's how I felt about that going on down in Baton Rouge.
Now, I do like how Mulkey handled the situation. And you didn't – there was a lot of internet news out there, but you ain't get nothing from LSU. Nothing at all. Kim Mulkey.
It was back to the old school where what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. So that was great.
And, you know, the only thing – you can't stop the internet. The internet going to do what they do. But Mulkey made sure that you're not gonna come in here and divide my team, and she weathered the storms per se. I don't think they lost since that first game, did they, Dante?
No, I don't think they have.
No, they've had some other close ones. Like I said, they've been doing well. You know what I'm saying? They've had to go through some adversity. So to be honest, teams better be scared of LSU because they went through this adversity without a bunch of their starters, their stars, people getting hurt to injury. The freshmen have had to step up. And now you get them together and bonding after all of this. Look out. Look out.
Dorian is looking to see the LSU record right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. They haven't lost.
They haven't lost since? Okay.
The last game they had against Virginia was a close game. They only won by 3, but they won the 3 games before that by what? After they lost, they won
to Colorado, wasn't it?
Yeah, they lost to Colorado that first game, but they won by 57, 34, 30 something. So they've been beating the brakes off everybody since they lost.
And the first game could have been contributed to, just a championship hangover.
Right. They lost, won by 57, then won by 62, then won by 30, then won by 23, then won by 59, then by 34, then by 3, the last game. So, yeah, they all right.
Hey, real quick, dudes. Speaking of that first game, this been going on so long. I did have a theory on what I think kind of led to this little outburst, if you will, between the two. And it goes back to that whole tournament that started in Vegas. And I went back and looked at the timeline. I think what set it off was they had the big old billboards and displays that was on all the neon signs. LSU was featuring the new freshman, and it wasn't Angel Reese. And it was just ironic that before that game started and everything else, that's how that game was promoted. I still got all the flyers and everything from that. And I was like, I could see her having an attitude. They had this big tournament start the season and everything, and she ain't the focal point. She ain't the feature point. I can kind of see her going, what the fuck is this kind of, type thing. And the coach having to pull her back to let her know, no, you part of the team. But that's a whole nother thing. So like I said, I'm glad this stuff is all over with as we hope, but I think that's what kind of led to this too. It was all attitude and ego that was getting to her head. And after she realized that that would affect her money, she's going to get it back right. Hey, Dorian, what's the update, speaking of which, in that game right now?
Cowboys losing 21-20.
We're not going to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it later.
That's good. That. Speaking of why Dorian's doing that.
We'll talk about it later.
You got like 12 Reese. I want to ask how LSU was doing right now. What's the update?
Oh, you talking about that game?
They were up 30 odds.
Hey, Dorian, what's LSU? Yeah, LSU. Angel Reese.
I was just looking at it. LSU up 6.
What's an Angel update? It's a good close game.
Dang, that's just something.
Speaking of close, this was real close, Rodney.
We didn't talk about that game.
We talked about on earlier episodes.
What you talking about?
We're gonna talk about the Cowboys right now. We're gonna get to that later.
This is one of our first episodes. We talked about the consensus number 1 basketball recruit, Mikey Williams, and the situation that he got himself caught up in. For those that don't remember, Mikey Williams got into an argument with someone in front of his house, and And as the car was pulling away, gunshots were fired into the car. 6 gunshots to be exact. There were 4 people in the car. Thankfully, no one got hit. But the quote unquote evidence pointed to Mikey Williams as being the gunman. There was eyewitnesses that said at the time that Mikey did it. I don't know what other evidence they had, but whatever the case, Mikey was in a whole bunch of trouble, and it was looking real bad for him. As a matter of fact, during the preliminary hearings and all of that, you know, there was all kind of things said. They didn't really want to give him a bail. They wanted to hold him, but you know, money came from all kinds of different directions, got him out on bail, and you know, he's been fighting this case since. Well, today, Mikey has agreed to a plea deal where he is going to avoid prison time. He's going to avoid jail time. He's going to receive, what was it? He has to do 80 hours of community service. He has to do he has to do anger management classes and gun awareness classes. And he has until next August, August of 24, to get these things done, which shouldn't be that big a deal. You got 80 hours of community service, but you should be able to do that, you know, fairly quick, and take those 2 classes. I hope he doesn't take forever to do this stuff. Let's go ahead and get this thing out the way, because if he successfully completes this, then this felony charge that he just pled to will be dropped down to a misdemeanor charge. So, which will, you know, be pretty much nothing. One of the other stipulations is that he can't own a gun for 10 years, which is, you know, an agreement that they came to, which shouldn't be that big a deal. But the question is, what does Memphis now do with Mikey Williams? He's been on, I call it administrative leave, because he's not suspended or anything like that. They've just been holding him out until the outcome of this legal case was resolved. Well, now it's resolved. He's been taking online classes. He hasn't been practicing with the team, but now he's actually, if what they say is true, they're waiting for the outcome. He should be able to start practicing and playing if they so choose and allow him to do it. So should they? Everybody don't speak at once. Everybody just looking at it. Y'all do know that dead. Yeah. When we have dead spaces, that's horrible. When we're broadcasting, we need people to.
I have to take a sip, but let me go ahead. I'm ready to go in. Put me in, coach.
Go ahead, D-Dub. Go ahead, D-Dub.
Okay, I believe he should be afforded the opportunity to play. My only concern is that you know, will be the kid himself. You know, what type of kid is he? You know, is he truly? We all know Memphis is you know, around the University of Memphis is you know,
it's rough.
Word I'm looking for. It's rough. Yeah. It's a very rough area.
Rough
and crime infested area.
Rough and
my stepdaughter, you know, she went there for a while, and you know, and driving around that area, that is a very rough area. So
and we from East Saint, and we say it's rough.
So I mean, with somebody coming off something like that, you know, it, like I said, depends on the kid. If he's a quick-tempered kid, or I don't want to, you know, pass any judgment on him. But if he's a quick-tempered kid, maybe they need to give him a handler, or you know, somebody to make sure he's okay, you know, or hang with him or whatever. Or if that, or you know, if he is actually worth that. So we'll see. But like I said, it's going to be rough because it's a rough area, and you know, hopefully, you know, he learn, you know, from his mistakes and can move on.
Yeah, I read a paper at the University of Memphis for a graduate African American Studies conference. And let me just say, when I started driving,
come in, son, Dorian. Can't really hear you, brother.
I'm like, ooh, I'm glad my hotel across town. I mean, I'm always down for second chances. I'm always of the belief that, you know, people should be offered the opportunity to redeem themselves. I think sometimes I have a problem with stupidity. And I think that these athletes, these young athletes in particular, do a lot of things to maintain a type of stature. And not understanding that the place that they are trying to go no longer values that kind of behavior. There's a whole new value system in where it is that you're trying to get to. And they want to bring something with them that they're supposed to be trying to leave behind. So let's hope he can do that. And, you know, and go ahead and play and be a productive citizen in addition to being productive on the basketball court and that kind of thing. So again, I just hope he ain't stupid. And that goes with the whole thing of fulfilling all of the requirements of, you know, anger management and gun control. Because, you know, guns to these kids, you know, it's like carrying around quarters to go to the arcade. Ask John Morant. So hopefully he's not.
Which is Memphis, by the way.
Right. So hopefully, you know, he can get his shit together. Point blank.
So
I'm with you, D, in that I do hope that he's learned something from this and he takes this thing serious, because this was serious, man. This man was looking at a lot of jail time. He's looking at a lot of jail time, but because of his quote unquote fame, his ability to play a game of basketball, the fact that he is one of the top recruits. Well, he was one of the top recruits. I'm looking now, and most draft boards have taken him completely off. There's actually one that I see where he's actually 36. He was going to be a top 5. Well, before all this stuff, he was a top 5 player. So it may have cost him a lot of money, maybe even cost him an ability to even go to be drafted. He may not be a one and done player anymore, which might be a good thing. He may have to stay in school, you know, 2-3 years to
give him time to grow up,
rehabilitate his image. Yes, that may be what he has to do. But I do hope that he takes this thing and takes it serious. The thing that kind of bothered me was how the charges that he was faced with, how they took 6 counts of attempted murder. I'm sorry, 4 counts of attempted murder, and now you give him some criminal threats. Criminal threats. You know that, which is still a felony.
I didn't know Memphis had boosted money like that.
Which is still a felony, man. But it goes beyond just Memphis. You have people that's looking at his ability and say, you know what, this kid was projected to be one of the top players in the NBA.
Yeah,
you know,
and
so they're looking at
it can bring in money.
Yeah, they're looking at future income that he might bring in. You know, so it's not a well. The thing, what it does, it shows. It doesn't show. Everybody knows when you have fame, when you have money, when you have power, the rules, the laws are different for you than they are for everybody else. And that's what this kid has. He has fame. I don't know about the money and the power, but he does have the fame. Go ahead, D.
No, I was waiting for Dante. I was going to tell Dante to play the
situation in
conspiracy theory music.
What music? Oh, the conspiracy theory.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory music.
Oh, well, you know what? This ain't even a conspiracy no more. It's obvious that what these schools have so much money now, and what's at stake. I know what you mean. And so, I could have played that. We should have played that. But
he got a conspiracy. He got a conspiracy. What?
Go ahead, Dorian.
He has a conspiracy. Hold on, D. I'm gonna find it. Wait a minute. Where is it? I can't find it, Dante. Where is it? Where is the conspiracy clip. Play it, man. Go to it.
Rodney's slow. It's right at the top. You just reorganize everything and can't find it. See, y'all, Rodney has Alzheimer's.
Okay, so from what I know about the legal
so anyway,
system,
Dorian, on to your conspiracy.
right? What I know about the legal system and about people being caught up in the legal system, certain things cost money, and when you talk about getting 4 attempted murder charges, down to the point that all you have to do is do a little bit of community service and anger management, and that's going to all of a sudden become a misdemeanor. That's worth a whole lot more money than that little boy got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, than that young man has. I shouldn't call him a little boy. So my thing is who is this money coming from? Because we heard all these stories, these cats that get these mystery agents, that these boosters or whatever that's paying for this kind of stuff. Because somebody, if as you're saying, if they're banking on him getting to the NBA, he some kind of way he has promised somebody that they're gonna get that money back. Unless you can prove to me that whoever the lawyers in that case were took that case pro bono, that's worth more money than he has. So it's something else up under all of this that was able to pay for them lawyers.
No. So like Rodney said,
go ahead,
first of all, Mikey Williams is one of the top recruits in the nation. He is a legend. He is a legend. He is a legend. First of all, out there, in Southern California, as far as hooping. In regards to the money, the financial backing, hell, let's not forget, LeBron James drove a Hummer in high school. So who cares where the money's coming from? We know the money is there because of the potential. It's called investing. Yeah, you have money backers. So that's the lawyers and everything that help Mikey Williams in this situation. They get a real shout out because he should be in prison for what he did. If it wasn't Mikey Williams, that's one of our kids. They are in jail. So because of his potential, it's kind of like the Branden. I was trying to think his name from Alabama. The situation we talked about on this show in the car accident. Whoever when you have that fame and stuff, you can get out of stuff because of your potential and the money. Yeah, Branden Wick. So Branden Miller is almost the same, but nobody died or anything in this situation as well. So here's
Branden Miller was the death. Branden Miller was the death. That's the one where he took the gun
I have down
to the guy and gave it to the guy, rather. We talking about what's his name? The defensive end that's at Philadelphia right now. That's the one with the
so again,
with the car.
The whole point being, yeah. So point, and in Memphis, who plays for the Memphis Grizzlies? Ja Morant. What situation do they have the guns? Is Memphis the right choice? So if I was to judge in this case, going back to what Dorian was talking about with all this money influence and everything else, just because Memphis has so much vested in this top recruit to come play basketball for them, what I would have done was I would have made part of his probation or whatever. He has stated has a very high crime rate. You're basically putting him back into an environment that he's coming from, that he grew up in. That's not helping him. I'm sending Mikey Williams somewhere like Utah.
Boise.
It's the same kind of thing I used to say about Ben Simmons. Yes. You send him somewhere where he's not surrounded by these negative influences to get his mind back right, to focus back on basketball. That's the only problem I have. I'm happy for Mikey like you wouldn't believe. Like I said, if we can get him out here, it's going to be great. But I just don't like the fact that all this money, like Dorian was talking about, was invested to get him down to Memphis. I didn't know Memphis had boosters like that down there. Come on. Penny Hardaway couldn't even get, come on. So, like Dorian said, who's helping him? But that's enough of Mikey. Good luck, Mikey. If you're listening, stay out of trouble and quit trolling the judge.
Right.
Yeah, we want to. Now again, I hate to see any of my young brothers go to jail. Any of them. However, if it's deserved, it's deserved. So, you know, thankfully in this situation, no one actually got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only thing that saved
that's
him.
the most important part.
Yeah, that's the only thing that saved him in this situation at all. However, our next idiot.
But this situation different, right?
Our next idiot of the week comes from the NFL, and that's from the Buffalo Bills defensive end, Von Miller. Now, I actually like Von Miller. I think his podcast is pretty cool. He has a funny commercial with the flag, you know. But this situation, if proven true, now, one thing we will not do is jump to conclusions without knowing the facts. So today, Von Miller, an arrest warrant was issued for Von Miller due to a domestic dispute, domestic violence situation with his pregnant girlfriend. And then I just read that he did actually turn himself in, and he was arrested today. But first off, keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. It is. Now, we've all been pushed to the point by somebody that we was dealing with where we just wanted to wring their neck. We've all been pushed there. But, bruh, Von, first off, you 6'4", like 280. Von is a big dude. He might be taller than 6'4".
He might be, but I don't think he's 280.
He not 280?
I think Von Miller like 6'5".
Okay, well, however tall, he's tall. And I'm pretty sure he's bigger than well, he's probably bigger than his pregnant girlfriend.
He's 6'3".
6'3"? Yes, hell, we 5'5", D. So that's a giant to us. But however big he is. But at the end of the day, first off, you shouldn't be doing it at all. But second, Von, you have a contract that's going to pay you generational wealth if you do it, if you use it correctly. And you're going to give it up because you got mad, get into an argument with a lady that's having your baby? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's just, to me, that is just bad judgment. Well, so walk away, man.
Mm-hmm.
Walk away. And again, you know, I'm not saying you did it until we get the information, until we get all the facts. You know, we're going to hold judgment. However, just as a word of advice, walk away. Anybody else? Anybody say that? I told y'all about this silence, man.
Well, I mean, sometimes
you were talking.
You can't really follow anybody.
Yeah, and what you said was so powerful. It's just like, you know, it permeated the whole podcast.
The whole room just filled up with emotion. You know, I mean,
yeah,
really not
only God can do it. 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 Do it. Do it.
Hell.
That's how Rod had me feeling right there. That's
you going to hell. You going to hell.
You was doing a damn thing.
Blasphemous. Blasphemous. You blasphemer.
So what Rodgers was trying to say, Von Miller? We need you to go to church, Von, on Sunday. Don't put your hands on a woman no more. Go to church on Sunday, because if Mikey Williams just got in the situation, you know, you should be all right. But hey, man, go to church.
Only God can do. Only God can do. Only God can do. Only God can do. Do 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 it. Do 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 it.
Do it.
This little Brinks.
The boy got issues, man.
Like on a serious
the
note,
boy has got issues.
I can't really follow that.
That's good.
I mean, I really honestly think Rodney said it all.
So,
yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, sitting around with my daughter watching these little stupid cartoons and how they teach them how not to get angry, that if they feel upset, to go breathe and all those kinds of things. I just don't understand, for the life of me. I will never understand how it is that two people can be together and feel like they need to commit violence on one another, one way or the other. That's something I would never understand. I'm about to commit violence against these freaking Dallas Cowboys. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on in the Cowboy game? Wait a minute. Hold on
himself because the Cowboys losing.
This was going on in the Cowboy game, right? Stuff like this.
It's how's the flag?
Update.
Those flags.
Cowboys game.
On defense.
It's an update. Cowboys game. Hey y'all, this Von Miller carrying Rodney into the end zone. Bring your little ass here. That's what's going on in the Dallas game, y'all.
But to Von Miller, and this boy. But on a serious note, I know Rodney just lost it because they got scored on. But no, go ahead. I think we have to find better ways in relationships. I thought that was the Dallas game. I just put up there.
So I mean, the best thing to do is just simply walk away. You know what I'm saying? Remove yourself from the situation, because until cooler heads prevail. I'm gonna tell you what he needs to do. He needs to grab his phone, go to whatever folder he has his banking app on, turn on the banking app, and look at his balance, and realize if I do this, that balance is gonna drop dramatically. That's what he needs to do. Because, well, again, first off, again, you should never, don't put yourself in that situation. When you guys have those arguments, whatever the argument is about, like Dooze said, walk away. Walk away.
Yeah, don't go to
remove yourself.
You should make a
remove yourself, because at the end of the day, you always gonna lose. And the thing is, you know, we say we hold judgment. However, the majority of the people that's on, you know, on all of these social media platforms, they're not gonna hold judgment. And what's gonna happen is, because of these allegations right now, whether true or not, that what is it, progressive commercial, whatever it is that he has, or whatever, all those endorsements he had, they're gonna go away. Which means that number on that phone is gonna start dropping down. And you see it going on with the like the P. Diddy situation and all those guys, how everybody's distancing themselves from him and all this other stuff due to allegations. And you know, I mean, it's like you're guilty first. You know, you're presumed guilty, which is sad. And again, I'm not saying
he turned himself in.
If he did it,
he turned himself in.
If he
he had a warrant for his arrest, so yeah, he had.
If he did it, then he deserves whatever punishment comes his way.
About that.
If he did it, but until it's
that's
proven that
one
he did
side of the story again, gentlemen. Y'all sound like Malika Andrews,
who won't say nothing about nothing. I bet you she talk about Von Miller.
She probably threw a lamp at him or something. We don't know. So this
she didn't talk about John
Giddey. He was had to do, so we can't just exactly. We ain't gonna talk about that either. So that was another. We gonna talk about is New York
Dante put this on here just to piss me off, y'all.
New York. First of all, Rodgers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dante put this whole next couple of topics on here just to make me mad. But go ahead, Dante.
No, I put this on here to calm you down, so you would have to. I put this on here. I put this on here to take your mind off of these Dallas Cowboys. So I figured, just get this up here. First of all, Rodney, I need you to talk about this situation that happened with the Knicks. Why is our guy still getting, put that back up there, Rodney?
Which one? Mark Jackson?
Such a bad rap. Yeah.
So the situation with Mark Jackson is kind of confusing in that the scuttlebutt, the word on the street, as D said earlier, is that Mark Jackson is religious.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, everyone has something that they believe in. And if he so chooses to believe in, whatever his faith is, in this case is Christianity, it's you want to tell people about your faith, but you don't want to force your faith on somebody else. And what's most people are accusing him of is trying to force his beliefs, his religion on other people. So that was kind of the thing that got him out of being coach of Golden State. Mm-hmm. And then he became, a good announcer for a long time until, ESPN decided to make their cuts and they cut everybody, Mark Jackson being one. And then he became the announcer for the Knicks, his former team, blah, blah, blah. But he still was doing the same stuff that he was accused of doing at Golden State. So
that's why I had this up.
For whatever reason,
when he went to New York,
say again?
He was still being religious, basically, in New York. So that's why I put this up here, because Mark Jackson, he came out and made a statement last week in regards to the comments that were going around in the media, to which he finally came out and said weren't true. He's tired of his name being thrown around, kind of like you're talking about right now, some of the stuff that was said about in the past. And he had to lay the law straight on why he's no longer calling games with the Knicks next to Clyde Frazier and everything you said. And it's like, the Knicks are wild. They don't like your boy, what's his name, the power forward that they won't even let back in the arena.
Oakley.
For New York.
Oakley.
Yeah, Oakley stuff. And it's like they're doing the same thing to Mark Jackson for no reason. Mark Jackson, first of all, is an excellent basketball analyst, I think. Regardless, when I listen to his games, I don't hear anything religious whatsoever to what they be saying he was doing. But that's him talking basketball to the mass public versus his team coaching his team. This had nothing to do with the team, which I thought was interesting. Again, I'm like, this ain't got nothing to do with coaching. Now they're basically giving the man a bad rep for calling games and saying, oh, he was this and he was that, and it had nothing to do with that. He said himself it wasn't the right fit for him anymore. And hopefully Mark Jackson is still trying to get a job in the NBA somewhere, because to me, Mark Jackson is still a better coach than probably a quarter of the coaches that are in the league right now. I don't care about the Tim Tebow effect. The man is a good man and a good coach. Whoever brings him in has to just separate that of religion from business or whatever. Whoever brings Mark Jackson in. So that's why I want to put that up there, Roddy, because
hold on,
that's
Dante.
your team.
Hold on, Dante.
But
I think that's
what you just said is the whole point.
That's the whole point. That's what they're saying. He can't.
Yeah, he can't. He's
still doing that.
His job.
Is he doing that at the game?
Again,
is he doing that at the Madison Square Garden?
The only thing I can say is what I've read and what I've heard happen. And again, it's coming out that Mark Jackson is trying to impose his beliefs on everybody. So here's the thing. All right. Let's be real about this.
Right? Is he imposing that?
Hold on, Dante. Let's
games. That's what I'm asking. I have never heard Mark Jackson imposing religious beliefs.
But that's not what they're.
That's what I'm asking.
Talking about
I'm asking you that as a Knicks fan.
During the game. I'm not talking
about the past.
Listen. We're not talking about his performance in front of the camera.
So we're not talking about him as the coach.
Listen. We're not talking about him when he is in front of the camera. We're not talking about him as in front of the camera. But what happens is, and again, I can only tell you what I've heard is you got NBA players that
as a coach.
Listen, man. You got NBA players, 22, 23, 24-year-old millionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Young millionaires that are unmarried, right? The NBA has a quote-unquote lifestyle. You got a lot of, because there's a lot of people that throw themselves at these players.
Mm-hmm.
Men, women, business people, whatever, that throw themselves at these players. So the scuttlebutt is Mark Jackson sees this stuff, and Mark Jackson goes to the players and tell them, well, you shouldn't do this. You should, this is how you're supposed to live, blah, 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 which is fine. I mean, that's it. When you're, as a Christian, you can go witness to other people and tell them what you think, thus says the Lord. But again, you can't impose your beliefs on other people. And that's what they're saying he was doing. He was trying to impose his beliefs on these players. And the players went to management and said, hey, yo, we don't like this. First off, all he is an announcer. Okay. He's not our coach. He's not our coach. He's an announcer. Yes, he is a former Knick.
Yeah.
Right? He's a former Knick, and we give him reverence for being, a good a former Knick that was a good player for us. However, we don't like him coming trying to tell us what we need to do and we're doing wrong and we're going to hell. Yeah. That's the part that they didn't like, and that's the part that they were complaining about. Now, he can say all he want. I just read your little thing here. He can say all he want that, I never accepted the job.
So that's what I'm asking you.
He accepted the job.
Hold on, Rodney. So
he accepted the job.
That's what I'm. Hold on, so Rodney. So that's what I'm asking you. Was he doing this from his announcer's position? Like I said, I'm not talking about him being as a coach. Was he still doing the same thing from his announcer's
That's what
position?
he just said.
That's what I'm saying.
Why? Like he said, he didn't. Like I said, Rodney, listen to what I'm saying, gentlemen. I'm gonna put this back up here and read the statements. This came out. Not with the coaching, Rodney. Listen to what I'm saying. Was he doing this to the players from the announcer booth with Clyde Frazier going up to players and saying, doing what he was doing as a coach? Because what that article was that he was fired because of this and that. As he said there, he wasn't fired. He never accepted to continue the job. And if you read the statement that's before, he quoted Prime on how the media does stuff. That's what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with him coaching. Was he, as an announcer, going up to players, doing what he was alleged to do as a coach, and that's what caused him to get fired, which he didn't get fired from the Knicks? That's the media slander I'm talking about. That's why this is up here, because he came back out to finally attack the slander.
All right, let me
you guys are getting in this. He understands all that other stuff about the Tim Tebow. So what proofs was there to this story, Rodney? That's what I'm asking.
Listen. Again, when I said
was he fired by the Knicks, Rodney?
As I said when I first started.
Was he fired by the Knicks?
Let me count to three so I can
mute that man.
He got that. He got the.
You went back.
He got the delay.
He got the delay.
No, I didn't.
Hold on, guys. You went back.
No, he didn't.
About past stuff.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Was he fired by the Knicks?
He said as an announcer.
He said as an announcer.
Let's go back.
That's why I know he wasn't fired.
At the beginning of the season, listen. At the beginning of the season,
fired as an announcer.
The Knicks hired him. Dante, listen, man, listen. Okay, I know we got the delay, but hold up. He got fired from ESPN in the summertime. Okay, he got fired from ESPN in the summertime when ESPN fired all these different players, all these different personalities. He got hired by the Knicks to announce the away game.
We're talking about Madison Square Garden, not ESPN. We're talking
the Knicks is Madison Square Garden. The Knicks is Madison Square Garden.
Dude,
ESPN.
let him finish what he's saying.
That's what this is about.
I'm trying to get the whole story, Dante.
That he was fired being an announcer at MSN.
Dante, let him speak. He let you speak. Let him speak.
I'm trying to give you the whole story.
With the ESPN, Rodney.
All right, I ain't gonna mention ESPN no more. He got hired by the Knicks, Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
He got hired by the Knicks, Madison. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it correctly without any misunderstandings. He got hired by Madison Square Garden to announce the Knicks away games. Okay. He got hired. He was announcing the Knicks away games. Okay. For him to say that he never accepted the job is not true because he got hired to do it. Okay. Now let's go back. Again, when I first started, I said, this is what I heard and this is what I read. I don't know it because I was not there. So I can't tell you with 100% certainty that this is what happened. But what I heard and what I read is that he was trying to impose his beliefs on these players. And as they're going to the team planes, he's telling them these things. The players didn't like this stuff, and they complained to management about it. Yeah. The players did. So what did they do? They stopped him when he tried to get on the plane and said, you know what? Go see Mr. Dolan. And from there, they relieved him of his duties. So that's all. It had nothing to do with the media. The media was not the one that did this. It was all between the things that he did, allegedly. Again, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I heard. About the report.
So was the report accurate?
The report that he gave?
That's what I'm saying. What you heard, what the report is saying, is for a man to come out and say, this shit that you're hearing, it's like you say, it's he say, she say. If a man is coming out to say that he say, she say ain't right, that's why I asked you, Rodney, what is the facts? Where is the stuff that you heard something on paper that some player said this? Where's another player coming out anywhere anything about Mark Jackson? Because what you heard is this is what's going on. Where is anybody ever on any podcast anywhere ever came out and said anything bad about Mark Jackson? But we've heard this and that. That's my point. Here's the media and how this is portrayed for this man to come out and say something like he's had enough. He say, I heard, but Rodney, give us something to what you heard from. Show me something. Show us and our viewers something from an article somewhere that you heard instead of what you have given us.
All right,
I'm giving you what this man said. He's tired of he say, she say. And that's what we don't want to do.
Hold on, Dante. You say he tired of he said. Listen, you say he tired of the he say, she say, right? That means it had to be someone that he said that she said. Someone had to say some stuff that he's tired of. So there is information out there. Do I have it? No. I began my statement. I began my statement by saying what I heard, what I read. Okay? I read the same.
All I need is one article from anybody. Hey, any player. Like I said, why hasn't there been one player ever to come out and say one bad thing about Mark Jackson?
You said nobody's talked about Mark Jackson. Well, that's not true. People have talked about Mark Jackson. But the problem is, it's not that what he's doing. Listen,
this is what's going on. This is what
he's doing.
Never seen anything from anybody that corroborate what you heard.
Okay, let me go to the next topic. Y'all, G, bring in the next topic.
Where's anybody? Never heard anybody say. That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
trying
We
to
need to
find
start
something for
finding
Dante.
these people that just throwing stuff out here instead of saying, well, what I heard. Let's find these people what they heard.
On the Knicks, he had to read it. He had
That's
to
why
read
we
it.
can't talk about Josh Giddey and all that because it's just what we heard.
Exactly, and I'm pretty sure that
this stuff been
that
going
if all
on.
this was, I'm pretty sure if it was all make believe, that Mark Jackson would have a monster lawsuit going on right now. Yeah, Mark Jackson would have sued somebody by now.
Hey, and this goes
if it was
back
if
to
it was just
Golden
make
State.
believe.
That's what I'm saying. Right, everybody playing it. So if that's the thing, they should just come out and say what it is. But anybody's ever said the real deal. If it's the Tim Tebow effect, say what it is. That's all I'm saying with that. But as far as the Knicks and the other stuff going on, Rodney, what's up with y'all owner, man?
So here's one where they say it was an old beef with Darren Erman, who was a former coach at Golden State. It says at the time Jackson called Erman's actions and excuse was later fired. Okay.
So he got you going down the rabbit hole.
Exactly.
It's not a rabbit hole. That's what I'm saying.
So
this stuff is it's like it's going. The reporter, they didn't have to read the story. Is my point, Rodney. So getting back to New York, the stories. This is a bigger story. Whoever reported this from the Post or whatever, and this to come out for him to respond to reporters trying to get a story, should have just let it go because we've known about this alleged history of Mark Jackson since Golden State. But this is how New York does to blow steam off. This is the bigger story, Rodney.
What is this story?
Should be talking about. You're the New York man. You're the Knicks.
Tell me about this story. Tell me about this story.
What?
Where did this come from?
Oh my God. What do you mean where did this come from?
I didn't even see that. Go ahead. Tell me about that. Go ahead.
What did
you got? Adam Silver
have in common, Rodney?
You got Adam Silver. I don't know who is Larry Tenenbaum. I've heard the name. Hold on.
Dooze, you the NBA guy.
See, you throw.
Remember that name back in the day? I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let me see who.
He's a Maple Leafs. He's the owner of the Maple Leafs. Okay, go ahead. Talk to me. So Tannenbaum is the owner of the Maple Leafs. James Dolan is the owner of the Knicks, and Adam Silver is the NBA commissioner. So what do they have in common? 3 old white men.
That's what they have in common. We got a Connor Stallion.
Why did you just say the lawsuit?
Because that's what
Go
it leads
ahead.
to.
Go ahead.
What do they have in common? We got a Connor Stallions in New York. Y'all got a mole in New York, right? That's why y'all can't win. That's the problem up there. Been giving away all them New York secrets, dudes. So this is what's going on in New York. Rodney, so explain this situation for all the viewers.
Well, so what happened was your boy Ike here. Ike is a former he's a former employee of the New York Knicks. He was over the video department, and he left that job to go to the Toronto Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did was he took all of the Knicks video scouting stuff to Toronto. When the Knicks found out, the Knicks filed a lawsuit against Toronto, and they're in litigation right now. And from that, the fallout from that, James Dolan decided he was going to quit being. He stepped down as being on the board for the NBA.
Like the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he stepped down on the board from the NBA, and it's still in litigation. And the Ike, I mean, he stole information. I mean, he had a non-compete. He had a non-compete, and he broke the non-compete. So,
I
mean, that's pretty much what happened.
Not another kind of stallion. Kind of stallion.
Well, I mean, he not quite kind of stallion because he didn't go and to other teams pretending to be on that bench, but he blatantly just stole the information.
So they just want to make sure they beat the Knicks.
Exactly. I mean, it ain't.
Hey,
It
you don't
ain't
need
like
to steal anything to beat
Toronto.
the Knicks.
Exactly.
You don't need to
losing
steal anything
tonight.
to beat the Knicks.
They barely beat the Pistons tonight.
Speaking of beating the Knicks. Yeah, this is all shit on Rodney. The Knicks and the Cowboys night.
Right.
Yeah, that was Rodney.
So what I will say, your boys in Phoenix, man, they went to the Garden and they played a better game. The Knicks were down big. They do what they always do. They get down big in the first half. They make a valiant comeback, tie the game, and then lose it in the fourth. And that's what happened here. They made a huge comeback.
Hops, guys.
I mean, it's Devin Booker, man.
Look how high he is.
It's Devin Booker.
Right.
Look
it up, man.
Bro, Devin Booker is one of the top 3 shooting guards in the league.
I know. Look at everybody in amazement.
And the Knicks aren't the best defensive player in the league by any stretch of the imagination.
No. I don't know why RJ not jumping. He's just looking.
I think Rodney could have did that on the Knicks.
Hey, here's a close up for you, Rodney. Look at everybody in amazement.
Is that Rodney in the audience there?
Yeah, that's Rodney in that 30 jersey.
That's Rodney in the audience.
Look at all the fans. That's typical night at MSG. But I like this shot, man. Look how high he is, man.
It's Devin Booker, man, who should have been a Knick, and we drafted freaking what's his name? Thank you.
What was his name? The guy with the bad
Phil Jackson. What is his name?
Y'all passed
the French guy.
Who guy?
It was a French guy.
Nikki.
Yeah. Natilakina, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
that's who we drafted instead of Devin Booker, man.
Yeah, that was bad.
What did before him?
Had a video of what Devin had to say about y'all.
You got a video for me? Let me see the video.
Yeah, I thought you had it up there. What he had to say about the Knicks and his time at MSG.
Oh, that's Popovich. Nope, that ain't it.
No, that ain't. We gonna get next though. He next on the list.
It don't matter, man.
Dude's got words about him.
We don't care about that. But yeah, I mean, I can't be mad. I can't be mad. Devin Booker, he was balling. He was straight balling, man. He was balling. So I can't be mad at him at all. Let me get he got drafted in 2015. Devin Booker
means a lot. If you're a fan of the game.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
You're a fan of history. You know, you should feel that upon arrival. You know, right when we touched down in New York City.
It wasn't
in the summer, and I get the chance to drive by MSG. You know, it just gives you a certain feeling. So
yeah,
wasn't EG started us off very well, and you know that New York Knicks team is a scrappy team. They offensive rebound really hard, and they play really hard. So. I'm happy that we came out with the win and stuff like that.
They can do that shot, and obviously you knew they were going to double, but then Goodwin got it back to you. Maybe take me from there.
Yeah, this one, I told him in the huddle. You know, I knew they were going to double and catch it, look away, and then bring it back to me. So it's a shot that I've imagined.
All right, he made the shot, man. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. He made the shot.
Yeah, it was a championship game by the stretch.
Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down. But no, I was wrong. It wasn't. Devin Booker wasn't. He should have been a Piston. That was the year that the Pistons drafted Stanley Johnson. The Knicks drafted Porzingis.
Oh.
The Pistons drafted Stanley Johnson when everybody thought they were going to draft Devin Booker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
So the Pistons
Stanley.
Yeah. It was the Pistons.
What was his name? Stanley Johnson. Never heard of him.
Stanley Johnson.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stanley Johnson. Never heard of him.
That was the whole problem. You never heard of him.
Never heard.
And since you want to talk, then the next year, where they at? The next year, I ain't gonna talk about the Pistons because we ain't talking about the Pistons.
Please don't, because they suck right now.
We're gonna leave them alone. If I start going through their draft history, man, everybody started laughing. So, but yeah, like I said, Booker.
So, do us a favor and talk about how you feel about this guy.
Well, we had Greg Popovich.
Do us a favor, tell us about your guy Pop. How you felt about this situation?
Popovich actually got on the mic and told the Spurs fans to stop booing Kawhi Leonard during the game against the Clippers. And I mean, it was crazy because it's like you're trying to stop the fans from being fans. You know, we understand Kawhi Leonard, you know, was a Spur, and you know he was the championship MVP as well. But I mean, you know, to stop the fans from booing, I mean, what would he like for him to cheer for Kawhi Leonard? You know, how would that help his team out? You know, if the fans are supposed to be the sixth man. So I mean, it's really another. I just really didn't understand where Popovich was coming from with this.
Hey, Dorian be on our stats. What is San Antonio's record, by the way? So, dudes, the bigger problem I had with all that, instead of Pop
they sucking terrible,
being a little sucking it up. So it's trying to, like dude said, going over here, trying to suck it up to the fans and being, you know, Captain Save-A-Ho for Kawhi Leonard. Over don't boo him. But you see his statement down there. He didn't want Kawhi Leonard, you know, give him a reason to get motivated to go off on him or whatever. No, you just want to find a reason why y'all was still out there getting involved. No, coach. What you need to be focusing on is who is your team uniform supply guy, whatever. Look to the left, guys. What's wrong with that picture?
No, they can't spell his name.
Anybody?
No, they can't spell it.
Exactly. But like Dude said, he want to go over and tell the home fans not to boo the opposition. And they're losing. Not only they're losing, they can't even get the star player's name right on his jersey.
And the crazy thing about it, I mean, yeah, the crazy thing about it, I mean, you have a potential star in Wembanya'n'a coming to the team, and it's like they threw a makeshift team together around him. They don't have a point guard. They have what's the guy named Sokan? What's his name, right?
Yeah, Sokan.
Yeah, I think they move him from like power forward to small forward
to point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he's nothing close to a point guard. And so you got this potential star with nobody to give him the ball. You got rid of Tyus Jones, you know, who was a great point guard. Not Tyus Jones.
Actual point guard. Trey Jones. Trey Jones.
Yeah. Well, actually, they still got Trey Jones, right? He's on the bench.
Trey on the bench
now. Yeah, they put him on the bench.
Yeah, he there. And
so, you know, I know in our little text that we have all the time, I always say that I think they should play Trey Jones more with him. But, I mean, you got all these guys playing with him that's just jacking up three-pointers and not getting him the ball. And so when he get it, he's jacking up threes right along with them. And, you know, it's to the detriment of Wembanya'n'a. So Popovich should focus on, you know, putting a team around this guy or, you know, trying to figure out how to coach this team to just stop jacking up threes and leave Kawhi Leonard alone. Kawhi's in LA Clippers. They have their own problems. So don't worry about Kawhi. Handle your problems.
See, I wonder if maybe what people in the arena and stuff were the boos, but Pop heard some other stuff coming from behind his bench, or some stuff that other folks, you know, may not have been here. Whereas, because I understand what you mean about, you know, stopping the fans from being fans. They should have the right to boo and so on and so forth. So I don't really know if Pop was just saying stop the booing. You know what I mean? I don't know. That just doesn't
I
seem
watched
like
the
him to
game.
me. I think there was
I
something else
watched
about
the
it. What was
game.
it about it?
No, I watched that game, Dorian. He literally went over there when Kawhi went to the free throw line, grabbed the mic from the announcers, and quieted everybody down, and basically like, no, this guy's a legend. We're not like that here in San Antonio. That whole whoop to the whoop stuff. That's exactly what he did, Dorian. That's like telling the Cameron crazies they can't be crazy in Cameron Indoor Arena at Duke.
But that's not what I said.
The opposition is shooting free throws.
But that's not what I said.
That's exactly what happened. He went booing them
that's not
while
what I
he's shooting
said.
free throws.
But
And he went and got slapped. Don't boo him while he's shooting his free throws.
But that's not what I said.
That's exactly what happened.
But that's not what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
That might have been what happened, but that's not what I said. I agree with you.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said he shouldn't stop the fans from being fans. I said, I wonder if when we hear all the cacophony of the noise and the boos, that maybe he heard something else coming from behind his bench and from where he was, and that he may have been out to
I get you.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. I see what you're saying now. He may have heard something different other than the boo. Specific statement directed towards Kawhi, per se.
Right.
Like Chris Paul may have heard. I see what you're saying now. My apologies, brother. But yeah, like I said, when I was watching the game, it was just you couldn't hear shit but the boos. But I see what you're saying. It could have been something else that could have led to something, but it wasn't that. And like he said right there in his statement, he didn't want to give Kawhi Leonard any extra motivation. Because just like you guys were talking about earlier, who was it, Westbrook? If a fan say something to you wrong, there would have been a different outcome. Kawhi would have looked at it. Was nothing like that. It was just the fans like at Cameron booing a player shooting free throws. So I don't think there was some other type of words said in that situation. That's all I'm saying, bro. And that's why I agree with Dooze. That was just some punk shit. Quit poo-pooing it. You need to focus on your team and not worry about the opposite, whether he was a star there or not. I
don't think they were booing Kawhi at all. I think they were booing how horrible these San Antonio Spurs are.
It could have been.
Because they just as bad as the Pistons. They only have one game above the Pistons. And the thing is,
that's another plausible.
I'm booing them because they got a power forward that's playing point guard. They got Wembanya'n'a who is a beast, but they're not using him correctly. Nobody's giving him the freaking ball. The man
and everybody just chunking threes.
And everybody come down jacking up threes. So I'm gonna boo that. I don't care about Kawhi. Kawhi been gone from y'all for like 5 years. What am I boo him for? This ain't the first time.
He got enough trouble with Harden and the crew.
Matter of fact, they was booing Popovich. Popovich, you need to fix it.
That kind of now that kind of goes back. I agree with Dorian was saying as far as another plausible theory. That was just all Pop, just over there trying to protect his own image. Or can y'all please stop booing? Or it ain't about Kawhi. Yeah, like you said, Rodney, it might have been about him. Somebody on the bench or somewhere in the stands probably said something specific about Pop. You suck, Pop, and this team sucking out here, blah, blah, blah. So now I see what Dorian was meaning by his other theory there. It was something. So, it's a lot of theories to it. But the point being San Antonio is sucking.
Whoever has DK Metcalf in our fantasy league,
that boy to Burger King
is killing because he is just scored his 3rd freaking touchdown in this game.
Oh,
I digress.
Oh Lord, update. Jordan,
let me.
I hope
quit.
It's not somebody. Oh, by the way, y'all, I beat Rodney last week. That was Dorian.
I'm on like a 5-game losing streak.
Lost 5 in a row, y'all.
Yeah, it's just been horrible. It's been horrible. They gonna boo me like Popovich.
27, yeah.
So,
right.
The bigger question should be: should Popovich have a job next year? I think Popovich and Belichick on the same plane right now.
Man, Popovich like Belichick.
They both need to go.
Yeah,
they
Popovich ain't going nowhere.
I think Belichick's gonna retire. We're gonna talk about that. We might as well get into it, y'all. We might as well get into it heavy. We on the road now.
Here we go. NFL coaches
So
being
you
fired.
boys, Rodney be hitting us up early. Who was it? Frank Wright got fired. Rodney hit us up with that over the weekend. Yeah, they said.
Frank Wright,
that was stupid.
The firing of Frank Wright.
Why this guy not fired?
The firing of Frank Wright is a
travesty.
Thorn in Dorian's side. He's been talking about that. He hates the fact that you can fire someone before you get actually even giving them a chance to do anything. Even though they were absolutely horrible, 1-11, but it's his first year. He has a rookie quarterback. Was it deserving? You gave him in a 5-year contract though, and a rookie quarterback. You can't expect him to. I mean, they expected him to be better than
and they set him up.
1-11, whatever.
He had Tannehill. He started off with Tannehill. They didn't start Will Levis. You talking about?
No, Frank Wright.
I'm talking about Bryce. I'm
talking about Bryce. Yeah, Bryce.
Frank Wright from Tennessee. Frank Wright is in California. Carolina.
We're talking about Carolina.
Yeah, my bad. That's my bad. I'm thinking about last year.
So they gave him a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we're talking about Carolina.
And they also
that's another bad situation in Tennessee.
They got rid of all the offensive weapons that they had.
You traded away your best receiver.
Yes. And your running back.
No, but you got Miles Sanders that you thought was going to be good from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Bears.
And how did that turn out? Didn't turn out that way.
Bears.
So
who get your pick?
And then
who makes those decisions? For Brags.
But the biggest issue was you draft a quarterback that Frank Wright didn't even want. You know, ownership wanted Bryce Young because they thought he could sell more tickets.
A little bit.
Not the way David Tepper tried to make it seem.
Oh, of course he's gonna try to cover his ass.
Over CJ Stroud.
You know, he wanted everybody to think, oh yeah, we did everything. You know, this was their choice. It was the owner that decided that he wanted Bryce Young. But I don't even tripping off that. That one, so, I don't care.
To Dorian's thing about these coaches getting fired in the season or in the middle of contracts, I think the reason Carolina rushed the gun, Dorian, is because they want to be the first ones in there on the Jim Harbaugh sweepstakes, which we're going to talk about later. So with Carolina knowing the situation was stupid, I want to just get to the whole point. Why does Brandon Staley still have a job? We knew it was expected.
That is the biggest question.
They set him up
in the NFL.
No line, traded away his picks and everything. But Brandon Staley.
Run, Jack! Okay, good throw. I'm sorry.
Has had talent for all this time to be
there is no.
So yeah, back to not the Dallas game. So yeah, this is the real focal point here as far as these head coaches.
So, let's go back to the origins of Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley came from what's his name? The Rams head coach. He was a defensive coordinator for the Rams. And when they no, they didn't even win the Super Bowl with him. He was already gone. But what's the Rams coach name? McVay, Sean McVay. So he's from the McVay tree. You know, San Diego, he actually has a tree. Mm-hmm. San Diego thought, I'm sorry, not San Diego, the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers thought that they were gonna catch lightning in the bottles twice by getting this young defensive coordinator to come run our team. But what is the biggest issue with the Chargers? The biggest issue with the Chargers is their defense. It's not the offense.
Nobody.
They can't stop.
Can't stop nobody. No run.
So, but not only is it the defense, it's the fact that Brandon Staley thinks that he is the smartest person in the room every time they play a game. And what does he do? He overthinks everything. And they want to attribute it to analytics. It's not analytics. It's your stupidity that tells you to go for it on 4th and 8 from your own 20. That's just stupid stuff. That's just stupid. Analytics. There's no analytic out there that'll tell you that that's a good idea. You know, they've lost so many games because of direct
analytics is called
decisions.
Punt.
Direct decisions that he made is unbelievable. And what it's doing is it's causing his quarterback to you know, even though it's not fair because it's, you know, it's 53 players on the team, the quarterback is not the one to make you win, the quarterback is not the one to make you lose. However, the quarterback is the only one on the field who has a win-loss record other than the coach. It's the quarterback. So the decisions that the coach make affects the quarterback. So now the quarterback has a losing record since he's been there. He can't win the big game. That's what they always say. But he gets him in position to win the big games if you just do stupid stuff. You know? So why he has the job right now, I don't know.
Justin Herbert is 30.
He should have been fired last year.
He's my quarterback.
He should have been fired last year. And that's another one of your teams that Harbaugh might decide to go to. Because it's actually a pretty good team. Other than the horrendous defense.
That was the question. I'm already typing in here, right? I'm already typing it in here.
And that is? we're waiting.
I already put that in here. Because that's why I brought that up about Carolina. Jim Harbaugh is going to go. He's going to take the San Diego. I keep calling him San Diego. Jim Harbaugh will be the LA Chargers head coach next year. Where did Jim Harbaugh make his career? On the West Coast of Stanford, everything else. And he's a quarterback's coach. So he's a Michigan boy. What do they love at Michigan? Big white
he
boy.
was coach San Diego State, then he went to Stanford.
Michigan. Stanford.
Oh, let me make sure.
Then he went to Stanford. Yes, sir. He's a West Coast guy. So, of course, Jim Harbaugh ain't going to Carolina. Jim Harbaugh don't want Bryce Young either. Jim Harbaugh is going to L.A. Jim Harbaugh will be the coach of the L.A. Chargers next year to get Justin Herbert over.
I was wrong.
And we're going to be getting into that in just a second here. Speaking of his quarterback, anything else, Rodney?
I'm sorry, I make a correction. He did not coach San Diego State. He went straight to Stanford. He went from Stanford to the 49ers, and from the 49ers to Michigan. Stanford.
Well,
West Coast and quarterback path. 49ers quarterbacks, Michigan quarterbacks. So that's what I'm saying. So he's going there. Carolina, they just fired the coach for no reason.
So to answer Dante's question,
Jim Harbaugh to come to Carolina.
To answer Dante's questions, how many head coaching vacancies are expected? Well, what's his name? Wow, I'm going to bring that. Schefter, Adam Schefter, Scheffler. He said that it's expected that a minimum of 10 coaches will be relieved of their 10 coaching vacancies will be available this year.
And the same 10 coaches gonna be head coaches in some other place.
So it's gonna be at least out of those 10, it's gonna be at least 6 retreads.
6 retreads.
Yeah, he said 10 places. And if you look at it, you got Carolina, you got the Raiders. They're already looking for coaches. Then you're also gonna have San Diego, the LA, the Chargers. You're gonna have Chicago,
LA.
You're gonna
they should go back to San Diego. They lost their identity going to LA.
Yeah, they need to go back so I can stop saying
San Diego.
You're gonna have the Patriots. They're gonna be looking for somebody else. Atlanta's gonna be looking for somebody else.
They lost their
who else you got?
Going to San Diego. I hate that. I do it all the time. I still call them San Diego.
I'm trying to go through the list here. I don't see 10, Schefter. Oh, Washington. They're going to be looking for somebody else. Maybe the Giants. The Giants may be looking for someone else.
Or not.
No.
So,
I mean, you can get close. You know, it might
Washington
be.
will not be.
I say about. Yeah. Unfortunately, you might have the Bucks. I say at least 7. It's usually about 7 each year. Each.
Hey, that NFC South. Hey, I can see the entire NFC South. All their coaches. The NFC South is garbage. Think about that, y'all. The Saints, Atlanta, who else? Carolina, and I'm missing one. Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that whole freaking division. All
not the Saints.
So I can see. Okay, that's Saints, 4 right there.
They just hired their coach this year. So I don't see them. Last year.
Yeah, this is second.
Okay,
this is second year.
And he got
to get around. He's 3 of the 4 there. The AFC, the AFC South. Tennessee coach should be gone. Let me see who else in the.
No, they've already said they're not gonna let him go.
Yeah, I can see that being about 6 to 10.
He's a
right?
good coach.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need these idiots to play some freaking defense, man.
This is what it sounds right. They're gonna be doing all these retreads for the quarterbacks that team have. Who's your backup, Rodney? It's a reason why Cleveland had to go get Matt Flacco. It's a reason why we see first and second year draftees right in the gates under center for a lot of teams. Quarterback skills. Tom Brady came out a week and a half ago was talking about the skill set and the quality of quarterbacks right now. We talked about it earlier, Rodney. They're not being coached, but instead they keep recycling these old retread coaches and everything else through the good old boy network instead of focusing on what you have for the skill set that the guys actually come with. So, Rodney, we're finna get into some stuff. You know, I've been working on for the past 2-3 weeks. I've been doing this for over a year. I keep ups with the quarterbacks. I know there's a delay, guys. So when you see things visual and put them in color codes in the chloropleth, things kind of stand out instead of just seeing numbers all in your face. So based on rankings, guys, you see who the number 1 ranked quarterback. But the colors work better for you, Dorian. That's the point. Instead of trying to look at all them different numbers and everything, you look at the scale. You see the legend there. You know, good, you know, green, good, yellow, you know, great, blah, blah, blah. Because you can't look at all them numbers. But one of the things of how statistics manipulate shit, Dorian, look who's the top ranked, I didn't say rated, ranked quarterback, and what everybody looks at is passing yards. Sam Howell. Sam Howell's throwing there 100 more passes than C.J. Stroud, which, by the way, we're going to get into. So look at the greens across certain specific categories that the NFL and everybody else uses, like fantasy league and everybody else uses to get that big old quarterback rating and everything else. We talk about who's great, who's good, who's all this. So this is just from last week, Dorian, not including tonight's game. But Rodney, Dorian, Minnesota, look at number 18. I put Kirk Cousins in there for a reason. He got hurt after 8 games. Everybody else in there has played 10 games or more. Kirk Cousins was on pace for an MVP season until he got hurt. He already had 2,000-some yards passing until he got hurt. He already had a 3.6 touchdown interception ratio. The man he had 18 touchdowns. If you look up top, it's only a few quarterbacks that have in the 20 touchdown club of quarterbacks. So Kirk Cousins was used as the barometer for this, y'all. And then you see the rushing yards from those 3 quarterbacks that we're used to. So that's just the start to show you what the stats were last week. These are your quarterbacks. Sam Howell, C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Tua, Jared, Dak, Patrick, Brady, Justin Herbert, wah, wah, wah. Most of these teams are in the playoffs. But that's just based on passing. When you break them down to the real statistics, the passing touchdowns, the completion rate, and everything else, it says a different story, gentlemen. CJ Stroud, statistically, is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm talking about in the future and the past. You see the numbers right there, guys. So when you put stuff in colors instead of all the numbers they have everywhere and combine them and filter them by the major stats that we use, yards, the average per pass, yards per game, touchdown, interceptions, interception to touchdown ratio, which you're going to get to. By the way, Russell Wilson has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL. 5-1. Remember, we were shitting on Russell to start the season off. But where's Denver at now? They're slowly back in the mix. And so when we stop looking at, oh, this guy threw for 300 yards the past 2 games and how the media does it, when you filter and do the stats right, I'm going to get back to that. This is what the breakdown really looks like across the league. We got all those quarterbacks there. Oh, by the way, the other quarterback I have is Trevor Lawrence. I've had Trevor Lawrence, Dory, in the past 2-3 years with Justin Herbert because they came out at the same time. They supposed to be the shit. Even with San Diego defense suffering, Justin Herbert being 30-31. Remember, Justin Herbert was even hurt. He's still amongst the top quarterbacks in the NFL. As bad as San Diego has been, they're mediocre. So it's not Justin Herbert. It's the fucking coach. Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I know I am about Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, Fabio, as Dorian calls him. They don't let him run. He's mediocre. Trevor Lawrence is Sam Howell. He's Baker Mayfield. He's Jordan Love, who's getting his first year to start. So when you put these numbers in colors instead of the numbers scattered everywhere, you see who stacks up with who. Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh. Kenny's numbers are actually coming up since they made that change in Pittsburgh, Rodney. That's why I was like, we're going to get to this. Geno Smith is dropped off. Look at Derek Carr. Look at Matthew Stafford.
Not tonight.
And look what their teams are doing. See, there's direct correlations with all this. But that's why I wanted to put this up here to show y'all. We always like, who's the greatest and this and that, all that. That great don't mean nothing. Ain't nobody great but a few of them. And so here's the chart right here, guys. Greatest 5. If greatest 5, 4 is good. 3 is mediocre. Mediocre, man. Shout out DeAndre Ayton. Bad is 2 and 1 is garbage. That was my little list. That was my numbers. So, you know what I mean? Y'all be the thing. We're going to put this on our website and everything, Rodney. You see what I mean? When you really start to look at all the numbers overall, what does your quarterback really stack up? And who's your backup? And does Joe Flacco fit anywhere on this screen or that screen? I mean, Mac Jones, Bryce Young. I mean, come on, y'all. So that's why this all ties back together with the quarterbacks and what's going on. It's the coaches. These guys is just all on the Good Old Boys Network. Here it is, Rodney. Dorian, remember we did our show? We did the Dos Mingos show. This was our guy right here, Joe Brady. Remember that, Dorian? Joe Brady was a freaking quarterback coach. And he actually, ironically, used to be the quarterback coach of Carolina. How many coaches have been through Carolina? Quarterbacks have been through Carolina in the last 4 or 5 years? Yeah, that's where Joe Brady used to be. But remember, Buffalo fired their offensive coordinator and promoted this guy who's now their OC. Oh, and what? By the way, Buffalo lost again. Me and Dorian talked about this last week and how these bum-ass coaches retread, recycles, just get flipped around. And that's why quarterbacks suck. So instead of Joe Flacco, how about giving one of these kids who just drafted, how about giving a Josh Dobbs? We saw what Josh Dobbs could do for a few minutes until the 4 interceptions that he threw in his last game, which just pushed him back down to the bottom half of that. That's what's going on with the quality of quarterbacks in the NFL, Rodney. Dorian and my fellas. Can y'all say less? Dorian, your quarterback that got hurt. Did you see where Burrows was on that list, right? I mean, Dorian? Hey, but Rodney, your boy's amazing. Everybody shit on Dak. Dak is a top 5 quarterback in the freaking league. These stats are not manipulated whatsoever. They are filtered by the major stats that we all look at. Brock Purdy, they shit on him. But Russell Wilson was the shocker, y'all. when I got to putting all this stuff, I was like, damn, Russell has come on and they are winning. They in a playoff. They fight for the playoffs. What you think about that?
You know,
Rod?
who's not fighting for playoffs? Well, so all right, talking about your quarterbacks.
No, just the quarterbacks, not my quarterbacks.
The state of the NFL, the state of the NFL quarterback is absolutely atrocious. There's only, but the thing is, it's not like this is a something that has never occurred before. This is the way it's been. You got like 10 good quarterbacks in the league at any given time, and that's it. The rest of them can play quarterback, play the position, and they're there. Most of them are cheap labor, but most of them not going to get that second contract. Definitely not no max.
Oh, that's cheap labor. That's
so. But again, you got your 10 good quarterbacks, and that's it. And the problem goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. These coaches are not. They're not developing these quarterbacks. And the reason they don't develop the quarterbacks is because most coaches are completely no, what it is they will not change their offensive system to work with the personnel that they have. What they try to do is make the personnel run their offensive system.
That's all that they know.
Because that's what they know. And it's easier, you know, for me to make you learn what I know.
You're going to plant my corn instead of
what you know. So that's the problem. It's never going to change because coaches are arrogant. So that's just and that's why the NFL product suffers a lot because you don't have good teams with good quarterbacks. Go ahead, D.
I think that the problem is that we try to who was this that was talking about this the other day? Just yesterday. Actually, interestingly enough, it was Aaron Rodgers. I was watching the Pat McAfee show. So what he was saying was how the media
you that white beater, huh?
How we anoint these people so quickly, and we're so quick to anoint them or call them a bust. He was referring to Bryce Young, and I think what happens is that they bring these rookies in. They want to draft them high, and then they want them to immediately play, and they want them to immediately be great, even though they really haven't put anybody around them to help. We talk all the time about how football is the ultimate team game. The quarterback can't be good if the offensive line is crap.
Exactly.
Because Bryce Young is running for his life every time he gets in. Now, what's also happened too is we thought this was going to change, and this is conversations that we all have had amongst us some years ago. But the NFL is still about that pro-style quarterback. That you get these kids that come in. Think about how many times we actually saw Bryce Young go under center at Alabama. How many times did we see Will Levis or any of them go under center in a pro-style offense when they were in college? But they expected to come into the pros and automatically come in that first year because they got drafted number 1 or number 2 or whatever it is, and immediately be superstars and take their team to the playoffs. If after 2 years they're not doing well, then the coach gets fired. Mm-hmm. They bring in a whole nother offensive coordinator with a whole other system that, like y'all said, wants everybody to just get into his system. And so then that quarterback, they draft somebody else, and then they trade that quarterback to someplace else to learn a whole other system in another. And so you just end up having a whole bunch of mediocre quarterbacks. They never get the opportunity to develop because if they don't come in, if they don't automatically come in and be Pat Mahomes, then they writing them off and shipping them off and bringing somebody else in. That's the reason Geno Smith
excellent point
is playing so well now because he had a chance to be in the NFL. He was there long enough to really learn how to be a quarterback, and now he's playing well. They don't allow these quarterbacks to develop. And so they end up being mediocre because now they bouncing around a whole bunch of different teams and because somebody has decided that they weren't good enough when they were the number 10 pick in the draft. So the best they could ever be is a backup. So they never get any reps. And then when they get in, they look like a deer in headlights. And so I think that's why that there's so much mediocre play. And again, it does go back to what y'all saying. It goes back to coaching. But at the same time, these coaches aren't given the opportunity to develop a lot of these players because they get fired in the middle of their damn contracts.
He mad about that one.
I can always take it back to that.
Most of these the star or better quarterbacks, as we call elite, they ain't listening to none of these quarterback coaches that are younger than them or a bunch of old head guys that are running the same old offenses from 1960. And you see, it's right there in those guys that you're looking at. They have good coaches. Dorian mentioned something about Jordan. Look at Jordan Love and where he is, like with Geno Smith. Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Geno Smith sat behind a whole bunch of people to where he had a good enough season to get a new contract. Their numbers aren't that too far off when you look at it. So all it takes is a game or two to put you up here out there. But I tell you who's going to be, you better watch out for Sam freaking Howell, because that's the other job I want to talk about, Rodney. That job is going to be enemy. They left. You see what they can. He can pass the ball. They have offensive weapons in Washington. They gave away their defense. It's kind of like San Diego. So we already know what they can do. They're getting rid of Ron is gone. See you, Riverboat Ron. That's the enemy's team. Get the defense right. They don't have an offensive line as well to protect Sam Howell either. Look at the sacks. We're gonna have to put. I think I got that posted. We'll put that on our page and everything. Sam Howell is going to be something to watch out for under every enemy's offense come next year. The man he's thrown 100 more passes than CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's going to be Rookie of the Year. Hell, if they get to the playoffs, you can say CJ Stroud can be eligible for MVP. And D'Amico Ryan should be up there for Coach of the Year for what he just did with Houston to transform that. And that goes back to team organization and ownership. What Houston's ownership did with that team is totally the opposite of what Carolina's ownership is doing with their team.
I hear you. All right, so one more quarterback we want to talk about.
Why?
Cuz that's my boy. Y'all know how I get down.
Hey, Ron, where are you? Where is Ron right now?
My boy Ron has been gone since the fifth play.
With the Achilles.
With the Achilles injury. Which usually keeps most people out for at least a year. But for whatever reason, Aaron Rodgers thinks he's better than God himself, and that his body heals in a fraction of the time as most people. Monty injured his Achilles, about 10 years ago? How long have I been home?
Mm-hmm.
And he's still walking with a limp. Aaron Rodgers is about to try to play football literally 3 months after he got injured, which to me is the stupidest thing.
What's the difference?
I ever heard.
Butt fat with a limp.
And the thing is with Aaron Rodgers, seriously, the thing with Aaron Rodgers is that the Jets should shut this down and shut it down quick, because if he goes out here and gets hurt again and is out for the all of next year, they really gonna be messed up. Dorian don't want to talk about Ron.
Well, it's not that I don't want to talk about. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's just that from what I've learned about Aaron Rodgers, he wants us to talk about it. So what this sounds to me is like another ploy to get us to talk about Aaron Rodgers, because I really don't see how he's going to defy nature. there's nobody there's nobody that's come back from an ACL as good as the technology has come with ACL injuries. Ain't nobody coming back from that in 3 months. Come on now. So I think that this is all speculation, something to keep people like us talking. And here I go, I end up talking about it anyway.
To keep his name in the news.
To keep his name in the news, and basically to keep everybody off talking about how bad the Jets really are. So I really, to me, honestly, I don't think that this is a story.
Yeah.
Because
so he's taking it for
I think that there's any way in hell that he'll be back this season.
Yeah, again.
I totally agree with
3 months, man.
Exactly.
3 months. You're not coming back for no Achilles injury in 3 months. And you have to, I mean, with an Achilles for a quarterback, he has to drop back, plant, and then throw. You can't, bruh. It's not going to happen. And
so
again,
I got a question, guys.
I agree with y'all. It's all about keeping my name out there.
So if Aaron Rodgers came back looking at this screen, where would we slot Aaron Rodgers in on this list, gentlemen? If Aaron Rodgers was to come back, and just don't matter who gets slotted down, where do we put Aaron Rodgers on this list? Coming back from injury, Rodney. I'm just saying,
the last 2
just
years,
anywhere.
Last year he was in the middle 15 quarterback. This year he's gonna be a 15 quarterback. So I mean,
so about 3 or 4. And so if
no,
Aaron Rodgers, A-Rod came back right now, right at 15. So Aaron Rodgers coming back will be better than Baker Mayfield, Sam Howell, Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith. Let's say he's ready to go for the playoffs. Is he better than any of those guys coming back from that injury at 15?
We talking about
coming back from injury as he claims that he's going to do.
Injured or healthy?
No, injured. Like that's what we're talking about, Rod. Coming back from this injury.
Ain't nobody gonna be better than them injured.
Right.
And if he injured,
coming back from this injury. Right. If he made the playoffs for this, like Dorian's saying, this is all just media hype. Ain't no way he gonna play. So if he came back to play from this injury, where will we slot him at amongst that list of quarterbacks? And like you said, probably 15 or below. Because ain't nobody coming back from that injury going into the playoffs gonna be a top 10 quarterback. It's all media. I don't see it either, Dorian. A-Rod just being A-Rod, because I guess his boy ain't paying him. Remember, was he on Phil McAfee or whatever you watching? Redneck show, Dorian?
Yeah, I saw like that show
now.
No, okay, I was actually folding clothes. So it's all I was folding clothes and had ESPN on, and I just didn't go across the room to change it.
Yeah.
So it's all hype to keep the Jets relevant because they're not relevant as all their quarterbacks suck. Everybody brought in, all the Patriots quarterbacks suck. Look for Bill Belichick to retire this year. What else we say on the recap before we end this, Rodney? Jim Hart's going to the LA Chargers next year. Brandon Staley will be fired next week. Ron Rivera's job is done. Eric Bieniemy will be taking over that job. He's going to have to get him a good defensive coach to come there. And he better not bring in Brandon Staley to be the freaking defensive coordinator in Washington.
Oh, he's going to be in D.C. somewhere
These
next year.
retreads need a break. It's time to look at the new tree. Man.
So.
It should not.
2 minutes to go in the game. Cowboys up 38-35 with the ball. So we got 2 minutes to go ahead and run this clock out. We down to the 25 of Seattle, looking to run the clock out and win this game.
I would boo you, Rod, but I don't want Popovich to get on my case. I don't want Coach Pop to get.
Hey, Rodney, so, I'm actually cheering for you, right? I'm actually cheering for the Cowboys. That's more room for my 49ers.
You gonna bring out that gourd again?
You know we smashed them last week too.
So,
Gourd's in the back.
but anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
the good luck Gourd. You see what happened? Up the goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
That
want to
was
thank
awesome.
you for tuning in to us this week. We've said a lot, done a lot. We hope you enjoyed it. We want you to go ahead and click that like button, that subscribe button, that notification button, and all the other buttons that you should push to make sure that you get our wonderful content. Press the money button to send it to Dooze. You know, he's our
But hold on, speaking of Dooze, got about
We need money. We need
Send the
money,
money.
not the monkey.
shout out to Bubbles.
send the money.
Bubbles.
I get a monkey for the money.
That's how
Dooze.
Bubbles is our podcast.
I hate
mascot,
jokes.
y'all. Y'all
Let me
know.
quit.
Let's trade that
It's a
monkey for
family
the
show.
money any day.
Only God can do it. 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 Do it. Do it.
Now we're gonna go from spanking monkeys to the God song.
I ain't spanking no monkeys.
Dudes up here spanking monkeys, and we're gonna go to only God can do it. Only Dudes can spank that monkey. Dudes, you gonna spank that monkey?
I ain't spanking no monkey.
Go on, spank that monkey, dude.
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
But you know what?
You like that?
Again, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining in tonight.
We must go.
We hope you've enjoyed it. If you didn't,
Kiss it.
and guess what? We out.
Yo.
Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight, good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight. Boogie's got me in a super trance. Sunshine, moonlight, yeah.